Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Joey Barton re-signs for Burnley, Ian Cathro dismisses talk of Connor Salmon to Dundee United, and Celtic stretch their unbeaten run domestically to 21 games. That's just a few of the topics we'll be discussing on what is effectively our last show of the year, Ruffy, which is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is. It's been a very, very long season, but we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed all the football that's on, but now it's a festive time, then we should enjoy it like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's only right and proper we have a few wee nights out and get out there and meet a few of our friends. It's been an amazing season when you consider some of the guests we've had on over the course of it. I never thought we'd be in a year where we'd be talking to each other about Pele on the show, Davy Moyes, Barry Ferguson, Kevin Harper. We've had all sorts of guests, pundits, managers, players.
Yeah, it's been great, and although we actually know them particularly well, it's good when they come on the show and they actually give us wee bites of what a lot of people won't know. Family life, what's going on in their life as well away from the football.
Yeah, and the other good thing about it, Ruffy, it's across all 4 divisions in Scotland, 6 days a week.
Yeah, that's great, and even the guys who come in for the lower divisions, they've always got something to say as well, as important as the guys in the top league as well.
Yeah, OK, well, let's continue in the theme of the programme. Joey Barton, we broke the story that he'd been sent home from Murray Park for a bust-up with Andy Halliday and Mark Warburton, and now I think it's one of those stories that we all knew he was going to go back to Burnley, and it's been confirmed today.
Yeah, it looked as if it was going to be that way. He had a good season there. The last time he was there, he won the Player of the Year. So they've obviously seen something that he can add to the team. It remains to be seen whether he's a permanent addition in that team and in the Premiership. I think it's a different level altogether. We certainly didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. So maybe he's got something to prove to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, is it fair to say it was a flop?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I don't remember him being man of the match in any of the games that he played in. I don't remember him being the guy who turned a game for Rangers or was a star man. So I think you would have to put that down as a flop, yeah.
Yep, OK. So he's gone. Now we get to the point where I think if you pick up every newspaper from now until the end of January, you'll start to see countless stories of speculation of players coming in, players going out. It's going to be quite a critical period, even when it goes to the winter shutdown for a number of clubs. Now, Dundee United, the back page headlines were linking Connor Salmon with a loan move, an emergency loan move to Tannadice. This is what the Hearts boss Ian Cathro had to say about it.
There's nothing there, so it's difficult in where you go. I mean, I think I can probably understand it from their point of view. If that's the type of player that they're looking for, then okay. If from our side, no.
OK, still getting used to those press conferences, Ruffy.
I actually don't understand that one. I mean, it's all over the back pages. It looks as if it's a done and dusted deal that's going to happen, and it's strange that he doesn't know anything about it. You would think he would be the man that had said, look, had a look at him, maybe he's not up to scratch, I want to move him on, but it's a strange one, really strange.
Yeah, I can understand, where Dundee United might want to actually try and strengthen, because I think Dundee United have got to respond to what Hibs are doing at the moment. I mean, Hibs with Chris Commons in is a clear sign of intent.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of the clubs who are trying to achieve something will be the clubs who are going to be bringing in players. Last season, as you can remember, there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
For the whole month, it was dire. There was nobody moving anywhere. Obviously, no money getting spent. But I think this year, there's a lot of teams with, particularly in the Premiership, where there's so many teams so tight at the bottom. There's nobody tailed off, so I think these teams will all be active to bring players in to try and get them away from the bottom.
It's a strange. I'm not suggesting for a minute there's a lot of money about, Ruffy, but I think there's there's a bit more manoeuvrability in this window, I think, for a number of clubs.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of the clubs that we're talking about, Peter, I mean, obviously Mark McGee's been on with Motherwell. He said, look, I've got nothing to play with, and I'm sure there'll be other clubs like that as well. So they'll have to use their experience, you know, to keep within that budget that they've got to be in with the wages. So I just think, again, it'll be just wheeling and dealing and players moving about.
Well, let me give you an example. One of the stories that I read this morning was, you know, Paul Hartley suggesting that he would let Rory Loy go out on loan just to get game time, to get, you know, maybe a few goals under his belt. Now, if I was Partick Thistle, that's the type of player that I would be putting a phone call in to try and get them goals, because on the evidence of last night, Rocky, Thistle create chances, but they just can't take them.
No, you're right. You know, it's another night, and then maybe a point could have been dug out for that game. You know, although Celtic had a lot of the play. But yeah, I'm sure Alan Archibald will be using his contacts to bring a player in. We all know about Doolan, we all know what he can do. And Alan's obviously tampering with the formation of the side. But you're right, you know, if you could find a goal scorer, and you look at the scores on the Saturday, you know, 9 times out of 10 it's the striker that's coming up with a goal. And if you don't have one that's coming up with it regularly, that's why you're down where you are.
Yeah, I thought there was 2 clear-cut opportunities last night, Ruffy. I mean, Ziggy Gordon, you know, the Celtic defence just opened up. It was like the parting of the Red Sea. They just allowed him to march into the penalty box, then stood off him. He's got a clear shot and goal. He's got to at least hit the target. And I also thought that Adi Aziz's chance was every bit as good, because he takes 3 touches. I mean, if he hits it with his left foot, he's got a shot on goal. Yeah,
you're right. You know, it's just having the confidence in your ability, you know, to take that extra touch. If you look at Lee Griffiths, you know, he's usually one touch and bang. Most of the good strikers are like that. I mean, but Dundee had chances with Celtic at the weekend as well, similar chances to what Partick Thistle had last night. But if you ask both managers, you've got to take your chances against Celtic. You don't get that many. So when you get that opportunity, you've got to capitalise on it.
Yeah, what do you make, obviously, of Celtic? They're quite happy to take 1-0, 2-1. You know, it's in fact, you know, they can shut up shop at the best of times if teams don't take their chances. Last night, I thought Partick Thistle went to sleep for the Celtic goal. I mean, it's a simple cutback from a free kick criminal to allow Scott Sinclair a shot from 18 yards.
Yeah, it's been happening too often. I'm sure Alan Archibald would agree with that. You know, that some of the goals that they're losing are pretty simple. There's nobody scoring a worldly into the top corner. It's silly wee goals here and there that could be stamped out, but I'm sure they'll be working on that, you know.
A worldly.
Yeah, top corner, bang.
Yeah, I think they call it a worldly.
It's a worldly.
Brilliant, Ruffy. Who cares? A letter either there. You can throw it in, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, 21 games, not to be sniffed at. The odds now, slowly but surely, we talk about it week in, week out. I mean, I was listening to Andy Walker saying it can't happen. I think, you know, everybody's got their opinion on it. I think it's easier to suggest it won't happen. The odds are stacked against it, but the bookies are slowly but surely, you know, shortening the odds here, because if they keep going this way, I think Ibrox, Pittodrie and Tynecastle, these are the places where it really will be tested. No disrespect to the others.
No, these are the games where it'll be crucial for these teams if they want to finish for second to take points out of Celtic. You know, in certain games somebody could get sent off, penalty could get given, you know, things like that. They're the wee things, I think, that are maybe stop the run to the end, and against these 3 teams it's probably against them.
Is it rather ominous though if Celtic actually go into the transfer market? I mean, we're talking about 5 or 6 players that we've named over the last couple of weeks that can head out the door at Celtic. But if he's able to actually look at strengthening it, you know, that could be ominous. I mean, one of the guys that they were linking with was Robert Snodgrass. I don't think that's going to happen. Robert Snodgrass looks as if he's not going to stay at Hull, but he's looking at maybe another Premier League club. No,
I think Brendan Rodgers has already said he wants a couple of players in. He wants to bed them in for the Champions League. And again, you know, if another couple of players come in, it just means that rotation that they've got will get even stronger.
Is it a good sign that Calvin Miller gets a little sniff at it, Ruffy? It's always nice to see youngsters getting a game.
And it's always good for supporters to see youngsters getting a game. It means that whatever you're doing in your academy, you're doing right, you know, and when they come in and they hold their place, or they do well when they come in, it's always a good sight.
Yeah, when we go to the break, Ruffy, I want to get your thinking cap on. We're going to go back over a few other stories today to get your thoughts on them. Maybe look ahead to the games coming up over the festive period before it hits Christmas Day. So get your thinking cap on and some of the highlights that you've had over 2016. I know you haven't worked all that long in 2016. You've had quite a few months holiday in there, but any of the times that you have been working, if you can maybe think of something,
Okay.
and we'll go back over that as well. Okay. I can see a smile on your face. Join us after the break if Ruffy's still here, and we will talk more football on Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. This is our last live look at the events coming up over the next couple of weeks. Ruffy, obviously the festive programmes will take over on STV, and we've recorded a number of specials as well, which I think a lot of people will enjoy. I'm certainly looking forward to watching them myself again.
Yep, we have to keep our viewers right up until Christmas, you know,
Yep.
and give them something special, and we've done that all along, so I'm sure it'll be, of the festive period, it'll be good watching.
Yeah, I've particularly enjoyed actually going out and chatting to people as well. Ruffy been very kind to us, very nice. Some of the compliments, obviously you take a few pelters as well, which is only natural. I mean, I still, one of the highlights for me was Ibrox, when I met a guy who sits at the front in the main stand, and I said to him, "How are you?" And he said, I really enjoy your show." And I said to him, is there anything you don't like about it? He says, "Aye, Ruffy." I don't know what the comeback is.
Yeah.
Where do you go with that, Ruffy?
No, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. My highlight was when we went to Tynecastle. Remember, we went to Tynecastle, and very sportingly, somebody asked me, did I want a hot pie? But unfortunately, he threw it at me for the third tier.
These are
Just have to accept these things.
These are the highlights. That's part for the course. Listen, I'm going to get some of your good memories of 2016 shortly. Couple other things I want to talk about. We did mention that, of course, managers are looking at players, want to bring some in. Some players have got an uncertain future. Of course, Tommy Wright is keen to not only maybe bring in a couple of players, but he's obviously looking to get some of the players who performed for him consistently re-signed.
The players are their agents, and they're all keen to sign. And I've told the club, you know, the ones that we are prioritising at the minute and want to get signed, and you know, that's very much out of my hands. You know, I can just give my advice and who I want to stay, and you know, the chairman in the past has always, you know, we've always tried to keep the squad together, and I think that's important, because I certainly don't want to be losing players, and I certainly don't want to be losing players that have done well for us, because they will be difficult to replace.
Yeah, I mean, for me, over 2016, I look at them, I mean, they're fifth in the table at the moment. For me, he's manager, you know, he's my manager of the year for what he's done over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he's been super, and I think the compliment he gets is whenever we have a St Johnstone player in, he's the first person they mention. You know, they think so highly of him, the training, you know, his man management and everything, and it seems as if they're that kind of club, like Inverness, no, like Ross County. They get a group of players who are all happy to come in the morning and work for each other, and then when the Saturday comes, you can see how they're benefiting from it.
Yeah, here's a look at the Premiership table, Ruffy, to see where everybody stands before we get into quite a number of fixtures that could determine how everybody looks at the January transfer window. Celtic out in front, and if they should win, obviously all the way to the 31st, and then win that one, I think everybody concedes that they're going to be champions anyway. But you know, I was reading Arthur Newman in the paper saying, you know, it would be good if Rangers could maybe just give the fans that little bit of hope at home against Celtic, get a win there, just lift everyone.
Yeah, well, I think that's what Rangers will be trying to do. I think that's what the manager will be preaching to the players. You know, everybody's talking about the gap, you know, how big it is, you know, but certainly when you're at home, you know, with your nucleus of your home support there behind you, it'd be good for Rangers, you know, if they could get that win. They're always obviously talking about a good cup run as well. And it looks as if they're heading towards second place at this precise moment in time. So, on the whole, that is the only thing that Rangers are missing just now, just beating Celtic.
Yeah, and they're unbeaten at home as well, which I think, you know, this season they'll want to try and keep that intact too. Mark Warburton, surprisingly, some of the papers actually talking about him being linked with the England under-21 job.
No, I think any interview that we saw, he's got a job to see out here. You know, he's came in. You know, a lot of people, you know, have been having wee digs at him here and there, obviously, when the results haven't been going their way. But I think he's got something to prove. I think he's got something to prove. I think he would like to get Rangers second. He would also, I think he would like to take Rangers into Europe, which would be massive for Rangers. But I think he's a kind of manager who wouldn't jump ship. I don't think he would.
I say surprisingly because you say you think he's got something to prove. I think he's got something to win first before people start to think, okay, you know, he's bedded himself in. The Championship, I don't think will gain him any great credibility on the CV this season. You know, he's always maintained just progression. You know, he hasn't certainly been bleating on about winning the title.
No.
To his credit, I think he's consistently said, you know, there's a progression here of just gradually taking it forward and forward to the point where they can put up a realistic challenge.
Yeah, and that's what he's been trying to get most of the media and some of the supporters to buy into. You know, it's not a quick fix. You know, from where they were to where they are now, they have to grow on that, and I think the board of directors are doing exactly that. They're in the financial side yet. They're looking after everything there. They're not being silly in anything that they're doing, and they're all just working as a team. And certainly at the end of the day, they will have targets that they want to meet.
Yeah, one of the targets for Rangers, Jota, he played at Brentford under Mark Warburton. I think that clearly Mark Warburton, if he is going to do business, he's looking for something to replace the Barton exit, Nico Kranjčar's long-term injury.
Yeah, I think he is a bit short in depth, you know, when you start looking at the bench for that kind of player. You know, there are
a game changer.
Yeah. And I think that's why he would want to maybe push the boat out to bring somebody like that in. Again, the problem is he probably hasn't played very much this year, so his fitness is going to be in doubt. And you've got to make sure, if it is the one, it's got to be the one that's match fit, and he's going to go into the team and hold down a place.
Okay, a couple of quick things. Niall McGinn says the Aberdeen fans have to stick by the team because he's almost certain they'll turn it around.
But I certainly think they've got the players. I definitely do.
You do?
I do. I think they have got the players to go on a wee run. It's not happening just now. That happens to, I think, every club throughout the season. It's either at the beginning of the season you struggle, the middle you struggle, or at the end. I think we'll still to see a wee bit Aberdeen that we saw last year.
Yeah, okay. I agree to disagree with you on this one, Ruffy. I don't think they've got the players. I think they've got one or two. One who's a good player in Johnny Hayes. I don't think they've got enough game changers to win games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point as it stands just now, but you're looking at, you know, McGinn, you're looking at Hayes, you're looking at Rooney. They've certainly got players that if they get back to the form that they were on last year.
Yeah, but when the big games come up, Ruffy,
well, you're right. I can't argue with that at all.
Okay, right. I'm going to give a special mention to each and every one of the teams. Now, without in any way just trying to isolate it to Christmas, I think all the teams right across all four divisions deserve a special mention because at Christmas, a lot of people are quite critical of footballers and clubs, but they go about their business quietly and effectively, going around a lot of sick kids' hospitals and just, you know, cheering up people. I think the players deserve tremendous credit. They do that throughout the year as well, I know, you know, from knowing a number of players who go out and do a lot of great work. This is a nice message.
It's fantastic, you know, and I keep saying it all the time, that players are no different from supporters. They are supporters. They're ordinary guys out there who are very privileged to be playing football, and they do go out their way to make put a smile on people's faces at this time of year, and it's good that they do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to give you my my highlights of 2016 on this programme, Ruffy. As far as guests are concerned, I thoroughly enjoyed being in the company of Steve Archibald. I thought it was great just to see him. Ross County, the League Cup final win was great because one of my old schoolmates, his son was playing in it, and it was just a joy to see the family happy. But the best game, Celtic Man City in the Champions League. Just outrageous.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great night, you know, a great atmosphere. My choices would obviously be Hibs winning the Scottish Cup.
Why? I mean, why is that a highlight?
Waited so long. They waited so long. It's so much stick for 102 years. So it was good to get.
It was 114.
Was it to get the monkey off their back? But it was a great day. Obviously spoiled by some of the supporters. Yeah. But another highlight for me was, unfortunately, I wasn't there. It was the Homeless World Cup.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fantastic event, done by yourself, and it was great to be down there and meeting the players and seeing the joy and everything on their face. It was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, from myself, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'm sure you'd like to echo those sentiments, Ruffy.
Yes, I would like to wish all the viewers a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, and as you can see, that wasn't on any auto cue there, so you had to actually think about it. So there you are. Have a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully, if you're out celebrating, don't drink too much, but say hello to us if you see us in the town. If we can see you, that'll be a bonus.